COSM is still respecting our areas of support. Let's go ahead and validate what could be happening for the following sessions. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again on this Super Bowl Sunday. This is ARCa coming at you with a COSM technicals and raw price action threat of analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community and Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, so we're looking at COSM on a daily here, and as you can see here, we've actually been using our little area of support as it's been respecting it thus far, right? And what is that area of support exactly? Well, I keep on mentioning to make sure to keep your gaps in place, right? So if we look back right over here from this gap from November 21st to about November 22nd, this little area is in fact still relevant today. Okay, so this is why I've kept that area marked down, because there is a high likelihood of using things like that as relevant supports or resistances, right? So in this case, you can see that we've been using it for 3 days straight as support, and we've just been trading sideways within this range, just what could be considered a chop box, right? So let's go ahead and reference the potential price outcome or objective based on this triangle, right? So if you take a trend line from the hypotenuse of the triangle, which is the top, to the lowest end of the triangle and apply it to the bottom side to get a price objective, it's still suggesting the bottom side of our support here of about $4.41. Okay, so it's still relevant, it's still in play. We have to make sure to respect it just in case the sentiment wants to take it down there, right? But it looks like by the curvature here, it looks like the bears are starting to lose a little bit of strength, but I don't want to just mention that just right away. First of all, because I'm not even sure that this got realized just yet. If you can take a look here, this candle formation right in here is actually called a bearish engulfing. Okay, that usually happens when the forward body engulfs the prior iteration. Okay, so this is very clearly a bearish engulfing, right? And we have moved to the downside, but it hasn't actually materialized. So because of something like this is kind of the reason why I would favor targets right down here, right? But it's not happening just yet. In fact, we had a pretty nice move to the upside on Friday, right? So now let's go ahead and continue to the next chart and reference volatility versus momentum. Okay, so I think this is absolutely worth mentioning, since the last two iterations where we actually had the spectrum, which is the volatility component of the BBWP. Remember, volatility is direction neutral, so we pair it with stochastic momentum so that we can get that direction bias. Okay, so the last time we actually made this cross here of the spectrum over the moving average, we actually did get an upside, and particularly from a very similar area to where we're sitting right now. And as you can see here, we're starting that cross again, particularly from that area where we were sitting before. And before this iteration, we actually had a cross right over here where we were sitting similar, we were actually just a little bit higher, in fact. And then we actually made that move to the upside. Okay, before that, I think there could have been another iteration. Okay, yeah. So there's another iteration right over here. We were in a similar area, and then we made that upside move, right? So I want to just point that out. I just want to just point out that volatility versus momentum is, in a sense, suggesting a potential upside move in a couple days, right? Or in a few days. Since we are on the daily chart here. Okay, so this is something to kind of monitor, to kind of look out. Please remember that out of only 2 or 3 iterations prior to this, that does not mean that the 4th iteration would be perfectly aligned with the other ones, right? So we have to practice a certain amount of discretion with making decisions like these, but we are bottoming out, and it looks like the bears are starting to lose a little bit of strength right down here in the stochastic momentum, which is good news. Okay, so let's go ahead and reference the last part of the analysis, which is actually going to be the RSI, and this is particular to the let's always start it off right with that immediate short-term time frame. 30-minute RSI is actually bouncing off of our 14-day simple moving average as support, right? But the thing is here is that we're still within the gravitational zone of the bull weakness percentile. Okay, so as long as we are in this gravitational zone, we could actually face some consolidation here, which is absolutely relevant to what's been happening for the last few days, right? So let's go ahead and move on now to the 4-hour chart. And the 4-hour RSI is actually suggesting a continuation to the downside, but please mind just how the pivot actually is not so convincing to the downside, which, by the way, is suggesting some more consolidation. And how is that possible? Well, in fact, the 14-day simple moving average is right below us, right? So in this case, we can actually fail the border between the bear strength percentile and the bear weakness percentile, and then we'll jump into the bear strength percentile's gravitational zone alongside the 14-day simple moving average, which both would essentially serve as a support range. And then jumping right back into the prior zone, we're going to be in that gravitational zone, so it's going to fail it and then do this zigzag here. So it's suggesting a little more consolidation there as well. The 8-hour time is actually suggesting a continuation to the downside, and please notice that we are within the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile, so that usually means that we can actually be faced with a pull right back down into the following zone, which is actually something that we have been doing, just chopping around here and consolidating, right? So now the daily time frame is also suggesting a little bit of consolidation, slightly bullish, slightly bearish with the 14-day, but it's still very pensive, just like we were days and days ago, where we actually got stuck within this area here, right? So very similar price action happening right now. So, and actually we got stuck on that prior to when we had 1, 2, 3 days stuck in that zone. We had 3 days right above it. We had another 4 days ish in that zone before facing a capitulation, right? So in this case, we actually were not in the danger of going down here. In fact, we're prepping for an upside move, but there are actually a few areas of relevant resistance, right? So first of all, it would be at 522, where the knot 618 is located. And the second less likely area would be the 571 target, which would be the resistance zone of our descending triangle or right-angled triangle. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just take a look at that 3-day, suggesting a little bit of consolidation. It's a little bullish, slightly bearish with the moving average. Good thing that we actually made a cross above the 14-day simple, which actually gives us a good prep for us to continue on to the upside, but it's not validated just yet. Okay, now the 5-day time frame is looking like it may actually be facing a pretty nice support here. And it's nice because, well, first of all, we have, it looks like we have been using it as that 14-day simple moving. I'm talking about the RSI signal and the 14-day simple moving average. We have been using, or the RSI signal has been using, that 14-day moving average as a form of support and a guide, if you will, towards the upside. And as you can see here, that bear strength is absolutely minimizing. We have a very much not so convincing pivot towards the downside. And in fact, we are sitting in the gravitational zone of the bear strength percentile. So which essentially means that we're going to be facing support from the 14-day and the gravitational zone, followed by a push to the upside. If this succeeds, then we have to break the gravitational zone from the bear weakness percentile, or else we're going to be stuck in this consolidation period yet again. Okay, you guys, but this is essentially what I'm looking at. Definitely know that I'm still expecting some slight upside, some slight downside, but still within the range, within the chop zone that we're in, right? Please know I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever. Okay, you guys, please do your own due diligence and everything will be just fine. Please refer to the links in the description below if you would like to chart alongside me. Make sure to click on the TradingView affiliate link, which would actually essentially help my trading future out greatly, you guys, as already a lot of members in the Discord and also a lot of people or followers in Twitter are sharing their charts with me, showing their perspectives, and I appreciate that greatly. Okay, you guys, so I think this is a pretty good place for me to leave off the video. If you have any questions or concerns, reach out to me on Twitter or Discord. But with that said, I wish you well, a very good night and a good rest of your Super Bowl Sunday, right? And I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.